Captain Phillips. It does not
Whoa.
star Bill Pullman or Rosie O'Donnell, unfortunately. So I think that
Sure.
segment of this episode is over. So this movie came out in 2013, directed by Paul Greengrass, starring Tom Hanks, Barkhad Abdi, and a very small cameo from Catherine Kinnear. The plot summary: the true story of Captain Richard Phillips and the 2009 hijacking by Somali pirates of the U.S. flagged MV Maersk, Alabama, the first American cargo ship to be hijacked in 200 years. Oh, that a fun bit of
Hmm.
trivia they didn't say in the movie. That's interesting. I wonder what the last one was. They should do a prequel of this where he's playing the other captain from 200 years ago that gets kidnapped by pirates. So
That's called Greyhound, I think. I haven't watched that movie, but maybe.
I've not seen that. Does that have Rosie O'Donnell or Bill Pullman in it? That's the question
No.
we are asking. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the next episode we do. So for me, the Tom Hanks piece I'll talk about and why I put this as my masterpiece, and then we'll kind of get into the movie. I think this movie, much like actually the last one we talked about, the Sleepless in Seattle, it really only works if you have a movie star in this role that you immediately care about and want to see like make it to the end of the movie without any backstory necessary of who this person is. Because this movie, it's Paul Greengrass and he does these basically like docudramas where you right into the action, a lot of handheld camera, making it feel like it's a documentary, even though it's obviously not. So there isn't a history of who this guy is and a whole 20 minutes where he's like with his kids and his wife and you're sort of building up this relationship with him. That's like 2 minutes, and then it jumps
Mhm.
right into he's on the boat and you're getting into the facts of the story, and you have to immediately be very worried and scared for this guy. Secondarily, too, this movie, because of the pirates, they come on board and he's trying to save his crew. He sends his crew off to hide in the bowels of the ship, and he's talking to the pirates and trying to convince them he doesn't know where the crew is and what's going on. He also has to be very believable, like within the world of the movie, where you're like, wait, why are these pirates like kind of falling for this? Like, isn't this obvious that this guy is lying to them about he doesn't know what's going on, or oh no, the ship's broke, I can't steer it. And I think in a way, like his persona of this believable, like nice guy, everyday man, even works within the characterization of Captain Phillips that he has here, where the pirates also sort of go along with it, and he is fooling them for the first 20 minutes of the hostage situation until he gets taken off the boat. And he has just that face that you just kind of trust already. And it's believable because he is Tom Hanks as the viewer that, okay, well, now I'm not sort of questioning on how this guy was able to get away with this because hey, I would believe him too if I was one of these Somali pirates.
Mhm.
And then finally, I do just think on a just level of performances that he's given, I think this might be his best performance in that I've seen in a movie in terms of the actor side of him. The end of this movie, when two scenes, when the end when he's blindfolded, he's hung in this small escape boat, and the Navy SEALs kind of come and kill all the pirates and save him. It's this harrowing moment of him just like, what's going on? What's going on? And you can just see the trauma in him going through everything that he just witnessed, and then not again knowing if he's going to be safe. And then the final scene in the end of the movie where he's just in shock and getting
Oh yeah.
cared for by the Navy nurse, and now he's back, he's safe on the ship, is just so emotional to watch that because it looks like a guy in shock. He doesn't know what's going on. He's crying at random times. He can't really understand and remember what happened to him or who he is, and it's just incredible. Like I get blown away by his performance every time I see this movie. It just gets better and better in my mind, and that's again another reason why I think this has to be for me his masterpiece. But before we get more in the film, yeah, what are your thoughts on Captain Phillips and Tom Hanks in the role?
Yeah, I agree. I think as a pure acting achievement, this might be up there, especially that last scene, the last two scenes that you mentioned. I mean, I still have, before I even watched this movie again, I still had a vivid memory and a feeling of just watching him in that shock state the first time and the only time I'd watched this movie before in the theater.
Hmm.
Like, that's how powerful that was communicated. And I think it sort of subverts expectations because you don't expect Tom Hanks to feel that way, the persona of Tom Hanks.
Hmm.
Because Tom Hanks, yeah, he's been in, peril or made poor choices or what have you, but we've never seen him like this, sort of like so vulnerable and
Right.
earth-shatteringly shocked that you don't even know if he's going to make it, but yet you're happy for him that he sort of made it. I don't think I've seen him communicate that emotion before ever. And it's so pitch perfect because it could be melodramatic. It fits in with the movie, it fits in with the character's journey. So it really is a masterclass in acting, which a lot of people may not give Tom Hanks that credit. And I think here he really shows that. And the whole movie is a service of this for sure. Like Barkar Abdi is amazing. The whole setup is amazing. Like you said, you're put in the action. It's sort of a nail biter from the get-go.
Hmm.
And the way they have mounted the movie in these sort of these container ships and containers and what have you, like it's claustrophobic but also very cinematic. It's a movie, you know.
Yeah.
I think this is the last kind of non-IP thrillery kind of movies that's contained with a movie star but has something to say, well mounted, has good production quality, but and totally delivers. I do think of this movie in the last like 10 years. There are a few of them, The Martian and then
Hmm.
this one.
Yeah.
I always think of these two.
Yeah, yeah, they don't make him like this anymore, kind of situation. You know,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I think this movie, which I'm a big fan of Paul Greengrass, and I love this docudrama style. I'd be happy if he just made these movies till the end of time. But I think this movie, even though it is, you know, does drop me right into the action, and it is meant to be very realistic, quote unquote, looking. They do a lot of movie tricks to this. I mean, I love the beginning of the movie where you see Tom Hanks going off to work in the first 5 minutes, then you cut to the pirate who we're going to
Oh
be
yeah.
following. Same thing. He's getting up, he's getting ready to go to work. You get to see more of, you actually have to see more of his backstory because he's not Tom Hanks. You got to learn a little bit more about him to have empathy for him. You know, he's teased by his other pirates. He's under pressure from his boss to deliver the loot and the bounty. And you really see like, oh yeah, he's just going off to work and he's had a
Right.
hard day in the same way that Tom Hanks is gonna have a hard day because the pirates are coming in there. And you really do feel for this guy. And I think that this movie easily could have made the pirates out to just be the bad guys and Tom Hanks in peril. But it really is trying to set up a lot of, in very subtle ways, not overhanded, like we're all the same, or look at what is actually causing the pirates and they are doing things because it's the only things they can do. I mean, there's allusions to that,
Hmm.
but it doesn't hit you over the head of it, but it makes you feel even more nervous because then when the Americans show up and the SWAT team is there and they're like, "What are you going to do?" You were worried about Tom and you're also worried about the pirates in a way too. You're like, "What are they going to get out of this alive? Like, is he going to impress his boss or what's really going to happen here?" And I think that's what makes this movie like doubly like on the edge of your seat because you care about everyone involved, even though obviously Tom Hanks is the innocent captain and they're the pirates who should have been doing this. I'm not condoning piracy,
Yeah.
but you have empathy for them in their situation. I
Yeah.
think that
They
movie
are
handles
they are
that
humans
deftly.
too.
Right.
And the movie communicates that and the performances communicate that. Yeah. I also think now that I'm thinking about this, unless I'm missing something, I think this might be one of Paul Greengrass's movies where not only the action and the thriller ride and the docudrama pieces are there, but the character development and the lived in nature of the people is also at the same level.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, the Bourne movies are really fun, but maybe they have some characters that you understand their motivation or the psychology, but it's not about that. You know,
Right.
you're in for the thrill ride. Like, this is a movie where all of the elements are at the same level. And it's fun to see him do that. I wish he did more of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is sort of his last amazing film, and hopefully he'll come back and do more of these at the same level, or maybe like you said, the industry's just changed where this he's not going to get the opportunity to do something
Yeah,
like this again because it does look very expensive. It's like a movie, but at the same time, it's handheld and it's supposed to be like down and dirty, and it can
right,
he can walk the line with both of those things. And I think having the rest of the entire cast except for Tom Hanks and again Catherine Keener in the first 5 minutes, it's all unknown actors
right.
leads to the realism too that I think works really
Totally.
well in this film. It's not like in Apollo 13 where it's still a real story, but everyone in that capsule is a famous actor.
Right.
So it feels like a movie. Like this feels more like a documentary because all Tom Hanks is the only
Totally.
actor you know in the entire movie, and yet you're still so invested and you're still care about all these characters because of what you said. Like he focuses so much on the character
Mhm.
development and the well-roundedness of what these characters are going through. So you do care. It's a fantastic film. It's a harrowing watch. I mean, I watched this in the theaters, seen it maybe two times afterwards since this rewatch for this episode, and it is like a hard watch
Oh
because you
yeah.
are just like edge of your seat, like your heart is pounding the entire time, and very difficult to watch Tom Hanks in such a vulnerable state. But it works on me every time. It just
Yeah.
gives you everything you want out of a movie. It's such a great film. Hi there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I review a new release and then discuss 6 other movies made by that film's actor or director and how they shaped us. Subscribe right now or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.